Good morning, or actually good afternoon. My name is Fang, and this is episode 100 something.
15, I think.
115. Today's topic will be growing Phalaenopsis stuartiana. And many of you probably have one of the cousin of the stuartiana. Phalaenopsis stuartiana is just like the Shuriana right here. They're from the Philippines. And this stuartiana is primarily, before 10, 15 years ago, primarily is the white form, white color form. And the difference between the stuartiana and Shuriana, without the flower or without the label, sometimes you cannot even tell the difference, because this is the flower, this is the spike, this is the leaf of Phalaenopsis stuartiana, and they can be really mistaken the Shuriana. See here? This is Shuriana, this is stuartiana. Okay. Without the flower, you cannot tell the difference. But the only way you can tell the difference when they do flower is Phalaenopsis stuartiana doesn't have fragrance like its cousin, the Shuriana. Okay, and both of them are very, very important in the breeding. The Shuriana is in the background of all the pink that we have today. Phalaenopsis stuartiana, the white one, is primary. It's very important for breeding some of the miniature multi-floor. For example, this is one of them. Okay, and the characteristic for Shuriana is it just loves to branch. Okay, this is the diploid form, and this is from seed. Okay, we raise everything from seed. We don't never buy anything that offered to you is like jungle collected plant. It doesn't worth it. From seeds is a lot easier. Okay, so this is actually the first bloom seeding of Phalaenopsis stuartiana. So you can tell this is love to flower and love to branch. So that is one of the characteristic. A lot of early hybridizer back in the 60s and the 70s, they do a lot of primary hybrid with the stuartiana. For example, you can there's one primary hybrid called Rothschild is Shuriana by stuartiana. So from there, they branch out to a lot of multi-floor. So a lot of time, even if you see anything that had variegated leaf, the peppermint sparkle, you can always bet on it. They have either Shuriana or stuartiana. Okay, how many of you have grown the species regular white form of stuartiana here? Anybody? Okay. All right. The main characteristic different on the stuartiana is the stuartiana itself is not as hardy. When I say hardy, versus the Shuriana. I found the Shuriana I can grow them and down to about 55, even 50 for 7 days without any issues, as long as you keep the plant dry. But stuartiana, on the other hand, do not like to have cold or wet feet. When I say wet feet, it meaning the media set really wet in the winter time. So if you're in Florida, for example, make sure your Shuriana or any Phalaenopsis should not be under open rain. Okay, should be under your gutter. So the media should be stay wet and warm. Media should be stay drier. Okay, so if you have a cold front coming in, okay, Phalaenopsis stuartiana you should be the one that you should bring them in the house if you live in Florida before any of the Phalaenopsis species. That's same as the Phalaena and Valencia, for example. Okay. Okay. So this is why Stuartiana is very important for breeding. Right about, and personally, I love Stuartiana. I think in the 70, 80, in my region, Pacific South Judging Center, we see a lot of the but then this is before CITE. CITE is a species preservation, and before the CITE, they were imported a lot of the Stuartiana and Stuartiana from the Philippines. So as a kid, I go to Stuart Orchid at San Gabriel Nursery a lot. So I see them, Joanne Brown, the Phalaenopsis hybridizer at the time, were doing a lot of the primary hybrid. She would cross the novelty Phalaenopsis like Gordiana or Golden Buddha. Golden Buddha have a lot of embryonces, and the waxy, the Maria in the background, they don't usually have a lot of flower. She crossed with the Stuartiana to get a lot of the R-shape primary. Okay. So that was a fun era, and from there, so this is why sometimes many of our new novelty. Personally, I've been using a lot of the Stuartiana background parent for a lot of onto the novelty. For example, we have a little Sunshine, the yellow one. Let me go grab one, for example. Jeff, can you walk with me?
No.
You can, okay. I'm gonna talk as we go. Little Sunshine. It's a perfect example of the novelty Phalaenopsis.
I was being blocked.
Huh?
I was being blocked.
Okay, this is the perfect example of the novelty onto about this had about 3 generations back. It does have the Stuartiana in the background, but because of the breeding with the embryonces and Phalaena and Valencia, it kind of lost the marking on the foliage. Okay, so
It's still very striking.
it's very, very striking. The flower lasts a long time.
Even
And they
without
do
the
have
marking on
fragrance.
the leaf, I mean,
Yeah,
that's
and Stuartiana also is the species contribute the what we call the French spotted. Anything with a really fine spot, the French style of the what we call French spotted is also from the species Stuartiana. So if you can see the flowers on this, you can actually see the species influence on the novelty. All right. So this is why a lot of this new novelty miniature. If you never get one, Jamie, are you gonna offer one again? Little Sunshine.
I can.
Yeah, Little Sunshine is a great value.
everyone needs a little sunshine.
Everybody need a little
I certainly
sunshine.
do.
It's just the flower is bright. A lot of them they start flowering in the springtime. This one particular, they can flower in the late spring, or they can be flower in the late fall, and you never cut the spike off because it's sequential. And a lot of time you can also, I see the secondary branching coming up on this. So it is a fun one to try. So anything that in my description, when I write description on animal or item, if we say mention this one have the species called Stuartiana, you can always count on. Jeff, can we see this? This is the characteristic of Stuartiana. The beautiful side branches. They just love to do side branches. All right. Okay. So then there's a new color form of the stuartiana called Nebulis. It's also called the yellow form. Okay, and I want to show you. Look at the size different, and most of this one coming on a picture probably about 15 years ago. It was discovered at we did not know which island of the Philippines they come from, because a lot of time the collector, they do not want, I think for two reasons. First, they don't want to disclose the location or the island of which Philippines they come from, and which is a good thing, because sometimes if you remember the Phalaenopsis stuartiana, once people know where they are, everything got wiped off. Okay, so, and the secondly, for the selfish reason, they don't want people to find it and collect them. So this, about 15 years ago, is actually got discovered, and many of these are exported to Japan, Asia, and it was notorious hard to grow, and for many reasons, because obviously when they are bare-rooted from the offshore island, went to Manila, which is the capital and the big city in Philippines, and then regroup. During the period they might be dehydrated, so, and then when exported. So a lot of time you always buy what we call the F1 hybrid, or the first generation. This is the one from C, and we have a number here called NF1221. These are a lot easier, and just can we see a spectrum of the leaf pattern. The difference between the stuartiana, the Nobilis, or the yellow form. Okay, at first they're going to flower like light whitish, really pastel white. Okay, and the flower age as the turn yellow. The flower age and turn really dark yellow as this is not even finished changing color yet. This can be as yellow as canary on them, and the background of the back of the flower is even prettier. It's green. Okay, all right. So myself has been interested. I really like this hybrid, this species, for many reasons, because the species itself is dwarf. It's half of the size as a regular. This is the size versus this is the size. Okay, and they also very thinner. The flower stem is always thin versus the white form. So it's really very interesting how the species evolution.
It still has the branching.
Yes, there does a branching, because this is the flower as but these are from C, so some have branch, but a lot of them do come in on the branch here. And another thing I've personally noticed on these stuartiana, the yellow form, the Nobilis, versus other form, is they have some capacity of sequential flower, and that's very different than the white form. All right, look at this. This is springtime. This is the spike from last spring. Most of the time, the white form, after the flower finish, they turn yellow and die back, so you cut them off, but not the yellow form. So this is very exciting, because now we can take this yellow form to breed with a lot of the novelty that we have, the Emboliensis. So we can actually remake it, some of the hybrid. That's some of my mentor that they make 40, 50 years ago. But the hybrid name will be the same, because it has been registered, has been recognized by the Royal Horticultural Society. The name stay, but we can remake it with a different color form of the species. So this is very exciting, because now we are making some groundwork here. Okay, so look up. We are doing a lot of original work here, and I want to share this with you. So today, after this finish, the talk finish, I will be matching one of this one here, Stuartiana. This is the one that NF2541, the one that got a grand champion in 2015, get a tundra flower.
It's like a cherry tree.
The cherry tree, genetic, look how nice and branching. This is first bloom. Okay, I want to cross with this, and I'm gonna go all way. So hopefully, maybe we'll get something, the orange form or the primary called Rothschilderiana, which is what registered almost 100 years ago by Rothschild Nursery at England. All right, very nice. Okay, now very interesting. I want to share this with you also because this is going to be on YouTube and this is going to last forever. Okay, personally, okay, not every Stuartiana is the same. Okay, the Stuartiana I'm working with right now, this one is called NF2450. I'm using the Stuartiana called Sogo, HECAOS, and I cross with the pollen parent, the pollen that shared with my friend from Philippines, called what we call wild strain. It is the unimproved, as original as you get from the wild. So we are getting some very interesting pattern on the foliage. Jeff, can you see this? All these are the same hybrid, same SIPA. These are all Stuartiana. Okay, so personally, I'm actually breeding for the foliage. I think foliage is very important. Remember, I went to Cal Poly Pomona, and my major was ornamental horticulture. So ornamental is very, very important for part of my training back in the college. Look at the leaf on this. Okay, so my next step on the Stuartiana. This is one of them. This is one of them I'm waiting for to flower. Look at the leaf, the silver leaf color of the white form of the Stuartiana. Here's another one of the Stuartiana. Okay, the white form. So very anxious to see this one flower. This is Stuartiana, the yellow form, nobilis. Look how small the plant. This is what we call the ideal leaf presentation. Self upright, 45 degree. There's plenty of space between the leaf and underneath. That means there's lots of good air movement here. There's lots of good air movement here. So the water stay here will dry out. Okay, so you're not gonna have a crown rot problem here. Or mini bug cannot hide underneath here. So there's lots of good air movement. Once the leaf structure like this have good air movement, you have pretty much saved a lot of trouble with pests and disease. Okay, so I'm anxious to see this one flower. I'm also anxious to see this Stuartiana, the nobilis. Okay, very nice, upright, but very interesting, even smaller. So we can use this to cross with some of the making micro mini Phalaenopsis with a variegated leaf, or just simply self it. Okay.
Crystal's asking if those do well mounted in Florida.
Yes, they love Florida. Remember now, they're from Philippines. They do not like cold. So in the summer of Florida, they love it. Just remember the Bunyamin, because crystal is against your area. So you do have the Bunyamin. So, but because the size, You can always what we call take a winter vacation inside and put it under Jeff light in the wintertime. Okay, so imagine when this one flower, the white form of the stuartiana with a silver leaf and a matching marriage position with this. So I can, in 3 to 5 years, yes, mark my word today, because these are slower grower. Anything that variegated leaf are going to grow a lot longer. Okay, so in 5 years, hopefully I can offer you the silver leaves, white from stuartiana, onto the yellow form. But I grow this just for the foliage, just for the foliage. Isn't it fun? And also look at the back of the leaf on the white form. They always, sometimes they can be color, and this one here can be albino. But most of the yellow form or the stuartiana, they always going to have purplish undertone. So it's very, very ornamental. Imagine this, if you grow this under light, it is really pretty. In the summertime, you know, mix around all your Phalaenopsis, it's not in bloom. It is just, I think it's just prettier than some of the aeroid.
How low a temperature can those take again?
They like to have minimum of 60 degrees. Do not let them go below 60 degrees. 7 days, 10 days the most, and keep them dry. Okay, but if you mount them, the root is going to get colder because it's exposed to cold air. So if you do mount them, give them a blanket if they're outside, okay? Or there's one way to recycle your mask. Put a mask, the old mask. Hey, we do save the old mask. Covers it, just rubber band it, covers it. All right. So the culture on the stuartiana, the temperature. All right. The wintertime, less is more. Especially the yellow form, we leave it as really bone dry. Sometimes some of this. In the wintertime, because it's cold, we do not water us maybe a month, and they do better that way. If you leave them too dry, the root might have more rotting problem. Okay, so right now because
If they're too wet, right?
yeah, if it's too wet. Okay, so the stuartiana with a yellow form or white form, they do not like to have too saggy of water. Remember, this is when they are species, they actually they are epiphyte. They mount themselves on the tree trunk. Okay, so knowing that, this is the root structure, and they're at the Philippines, at a native country. Their wintertime, they are tropical. Their wintertime night temperature rarely go below 65. So this is the DNA. So this is the background. So we cannot replicate, but this is built in their DNA already. Okay. So on the stuartiana, less is more. The feeding, the same as regular Phalaenopsis, we make a dry them. Okay. The make a dry really do a good job. And also the normal exotic food. Okay. I'm shamelessly promote my food, but this is my trade secret. Look how strong the stem. Okay, this is what I like to see, because when we have thousands of orchids, we cannot always get into spiking them. But when well-grown, well-fertilized stuartiana, there should be strong support like this. Okay?
Crystal is asking, do they need a slight temperature drop to flower?
Yes, but not much. Not much, because in the Philippines, all they need. Very similar to the Orchids. Remember, the white flower, the Orchids species is from the Philippines also. So they do about 10 or 15 degrees, and that's enough. Okay, and that's very easy. Even at room temperature at home, we can even do that. Okay, the only thing that might not have the difference, that kind of drop, is if you're in the Caribbean. That the summertime, the Caribbean, they really drop also. All right, but what people in my customer in Caribbean is they just put the orchid from outside in the fall, put it inside when it has air conditioning, and that will trigger the lower temperature. So there's all kind of treatment that you can try. Put it inside. Okay, they grow beautiful foliage in the summertime, but they always flower in the springtime. So if you area, if you even the podcast, we have a lot of customers from South America is watching the channel. If you live in Caribbean, for example, your summertime or fall doesn't drop. Okay, take it from outside, put it in your air conditioned room. That will drop and inside for minimum of 2 weeks. Okay, and then you can put it outside. By then, January, usually even in Caribbean, will be cooler than the summertime, and they should trigger the frost spike. Okay, so enjoy, and I think stuartiana is a wonderful species to try. We offer this. If you still see the yellow strand, the nobilis, do not buy the eyelash side. The plant like this, all the frost, okay, they do tend to like to cakey sometimes. This is about 4 to 5 years old. That's it. They don't get any bigger. And that's the beauty of the stuartiana nobilis. Do not buy the eyelash side because when they are out of frost, they're very, very tender. And for us, for example, to get to this size, we usually lose about 30%. It's just genetic. Okay, so if you buy one, you might be one of the 30%. 30% is for me as a professional grower. But always buy the biggest one you can get because this is time. Okay, there's always smaller one. There's always smaller one. But when it comes to the bigger one, if you offer the premium size on the website, grab the premium one because the premium one are at least 1 year extra. Okay, time is money. And for you, you can enjoy them. They get better and better with age. Look at how this one here. Branching. All right, so some of this, I know Jamie, this is the first time we have, this is the F1. We do have a very, very successful with this strand. Okay, one of the best strand we have. I know Jamie's going to go inside and then go cherry pick for her jumper. If that's available, grab it. Because,
My 12 complex on the cards all sold out.
Oh, good.
So I
The
only have
complex
4
is
nice
wonderful.
So-
Okay,
Unbelievable.
I'm going to Costa
I do
Rica
have
next
4.
week. When I come back, I'm going to talk about the red complex. Because red complex have the boloculum in the background, and boloculum is the warm species from the Thailand. So if you are in the area, this is why.
So Norman, you're going to Costa Rica, right?
Yes.
What are you going to Costa Rica for?
Oh, I got invited to judge at the Costa Rica show. I might do a live on Saturday when they open to the public because Thursday we do judging, or I might do Friday. Okay, so Jeff, I will do from the podcast group. You can edit it up and put it on YouTube later.
That'll be great.
Because it is. I was there in 2019, and Gabriel, who is on our group, we only allow few people from outside USA, and Gabriel is one of them. He's the president of the Costa Rica Orchid Society. He invited me again, and we have Marlene Lee coming with me. And Costa Rica in March, in February, is the Calaria, the Skinia show, which is the national flower. It's a
Kind of nice
Calaria.
to be invited to go international judging, isn't it? Keep
Yeah.
your passport up.
Yeah, I feel that I'm no longer on the F list, right? I'm on the A list now. Anyway, so I probably do either Friday, yeah, because Saturday I might not be there. On Saturday they probably haven't taken us to visit some of the private collection. But it is amazing. I was there in 2019. I still remember. You know, when you are surrounded, you're surrounded at least 1,000 plants of the Calaria skinnii. and every one of them are superb and superb. So this is why I make a commitment to do and propagate more skinny because skinny flower about